June the 29th, 2021. Guys, you're looking at the 5-day outlook from the National Hurricane Center. And if you notice something different, good, because the front storm that's now in the yellow cone, it was in the orange cone, it was at a 40% chance of development. Now it's at a 20% chance of development. It's saying that any development of the system should be slow to occur as the tropical wave moves quickly westward to northwestward at 20 to 25 miles an hour, passing through the Lesser Antilles on Wednesday and then across the eastern and central Caribbean Sea later this weekend. Regardless of development, the system could bring locally heavy rainfalls to a portion of the Lesser Antilles during the next couple of days. Now, the system behind it, this is the larger one. It came off the African coast behind the first system. It says it's a 60% chance, not 40. So it went from 20 to 60. The first storm went from 40 to 20. But this is 8 p.m. Eastern, 27 minutes ago. It says a broad area of low pressure associated with a tropical wave is located about midway between the west coast of Africa and the Windward Islands. The system is producing a large area of showers and thunderstorms that are starting to show some signs of organization. Environmental conditions appear generally favorable for development, and a tropical depression could form during the next few days when the system moves west-northward or northwestward at about 20 miles an hour. Interest in the Windward and Leeward Islands should closely monitor this system, as it will likely be moving through that region on Friday. And guys, again, just a switch out of which storm is important. Now, I want to say this, I think I mentioned in the last video, I know I have for several years during hurricane season, is that especially if you have a Saharan dust layer and it's blowing off the coast of Africa, what will happen is the lead storm will act like a blocking back. I'm sorry to put a football scenario in here, but a blocking back so that will go through the line, and then the tailback or fullback can run through that hole. And what's happened, and that's exactly what we're seeing now, is the front storm has started to diminish the effects of the Saharan dust cloud. It's absorbed a lot of it. Now, that's one of the reasons that the storm is declining in strength. I'm not saying that it will not pick it back up once it gets into the Caribbean. Even though it's just a 20% chance, we need to keep an eye on it. But this back storm, it's going to take advantage of that opening that the front storm is making. And here, 60% chance of formation in 5 days. A broad area of low pressure associated with a tropical wave is located about midway between the west coast of Africa and the Windward Islands. This system is producing a large area of showers and thunderstorms that are starting to show some signs of organization. Environmental conditions appear generally favorable for development, and a tropical depression could form during the next few days while the system moves west-northwestward at about 20 miles an hour. Interest in the Windward and Leeward Islands should closely monitor this system, as it will likely be moving through that region on Friday. So this is the setup. This is what we're starting to see. Year after year, when we first start seeing these Atlantic hurricanes, there will be a 1-2 punch. It's as if Mother Nature knows exactly what it's got to do. And when I say that, it's not to form a hurricane that's destructive when it hits land. This is how the planet cools itself off. If it weren't for these large hurricanes that's pulling all this air counterclockwise up into the atmosphere and cooling it, the oceans would overheat. It's just part of the, again, the relationship of all the factors of nature. God built this planet, so he knows what's going on. And with all the other things that's going on right now, guys, politically, geopolitically, whatever, remember this. In Malachi, it talks about the healing wings of Shemesh in these end times. And Shemesh is the sun, not the Son of God, but S-U-N. And the sun is starting to heat up. You remember the video I did yesterday? Well, that is continuing, these solar explosions. And I just want to let you know that regardless of the plans of man on this planet, as far as taking over something or dominating something. It's not in their hands, because when it comes down to it, right before you see a massive movement, then the Lord, via his supernatural ability — supernatural means more natural, guys — but he can take down these systems, just as if you had major problems with 5G, control of 5G on you or anyone else. Then this angel that's going to pour his vial out upon the sun, and we see these healing wings of Shemesh pour towards the earth, you know that's going to, as it intensifies, it will take out the satellites that are 5G. It will take out the grid that controls 5G, and it will take out all the other control mechanisms. So God is in control. I did a video a few years ago about the largest Asian army ever, in this case Navy, in the 1400s, was about to take over the entire planet. And a comet came through and knocked out almost their entire fleet. As it hit the water, there were 500 to 600 foot tsunami waves that washed that entire Asian fleet into areas around Australia, New Zealand. They found these ships, guys, and I guess I'll have to redo that. It's very interesting. They found these ships up in caves high, 400 or 500 feet up into the mountains, and they had burned because of the fire as the comet came down, heated everything. Massive fireball explosion, 500 or 600 foot waves. It's happened before. It will happen again, just as you think there is no hope. Just as you think there's going to be a red dawn, not from Russia, but from Asia. Keep your eye on the ball, because the man upstairs is in charge. But right now, we need to watch these two storms. The first one, again, is going to lead a lot of interference. It's going to do a lot of blocking. The second one is going to have to be the one we're really going to have to worry about, guys. And it's that time of year. We almost made it through June without anything major, and really we have. Still got Enrique over on the west side of Mexico. But if you think about it, we started seeing the first storms in the middle of May. Now we're at the end of June. Is that a good sign or is that a bad sign? Is there a lot of heat saved up? Is there a lot of energy that needs to be dispersed via these hurricanes? We're going to watch it and see, guys. But right now, this is what we're dealing with. Let's look at the satellite image of the Atlantic. Now, as you watch this, you can see the sun is setting in the west, and it's almost dark over on the East Coast. It is 7:34 Central, so it's 8:34 on the East Coast right now. The front storm is right here, and it's encountered the tail edge of the Saharan sand cloud. It's got some upper-level wind shear that's pulling it apart here. It is not done with yet. It's still projected to move through the Windward Islands, but behind it, right here, we're kind of getting a large storm developing, guys, and these are the ones that we have to watch. It's already got rotation. They're watching it closely. That is why it is at a 60% chance of development. Now, the Navy model has picked it up, and the GFS model has picked it up. The Canadian model has not done it yet. What you're seeing here, if you look at this is the second storm, and by July the 7th, it's showing it parked over the eastern tip of the Yucatan Peninsula. The first storm kind of peters out as it's going up through Cuba and some of the other islands right there. We're just going to have to watch it. But I want to point out as it stops on the 7th, right there. Let's let it go back through again. Notice your high pressure in the orange and reds here. This is starting to pull back now. Before it was pushing over into the Gulf of Mexico. So as this pulls to the east or to the right, this storm is going to turn, because now it's going to follow the path of least resistance. Now the GFS goes a little further in time. Let's take a look at that. Now again, this is a longer track as far as time in the path of the storm. It shows it going a little further north, scraping Cuba, and then coming up into the Florida Panhandle. Now, we know this is going to change. Also, what's happening is, if you notice, there's an opening in this high-pressure system right here in the orange and yellows. As it gets in here, it's the controlling factor, until right now, and it starts to back out just long enough for the second storm to come in again, Florida Panhandle. Guys, I know this is going to change. This is the information that I have now. I thought I would share it with you because we're starting to get into the very serious time of the year as far as hurricanes. Now, again, the sun is acting up. I've got a report that I'll have up in the morning early after I do the early morning hurricane report, because the sun, as I said in the video a couple of videos ago, the sun is really waking up and a lot more solar explosions are happening. It has continued today. But again, that'll be another video. Right now, let's pay attention to this. It's a heads up, guys. Also, push the subscribe button and the bell so you get notifications. Be safe.